Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Bad Bench. My name is John, aka Big Bad Biologist, and today we're going to be working on the Farmertan LC3. And so, if you remember from last time, this is our Farmertan LC3, and you can see we have this beautiful coloration. And so we've done a little bit of work since then. So here's the current state of the Farmertan LC3. It looks a lot better. It's not perfect. I ran out of peroxide, so there's a slight line that you can kind of see here. It might not come across on the stream, but it's there. So this is going to go back in the peroxide. I just wanted to show you the progress that we've made on this so far. So it looks a heck of a lot better than it did originally. So let's go back and look at that picture. There it was originally. Here we are today. So see, a lot better. We're doing good. All right, so take a seat. All right, so I want to say hi to Eric Helgeson, Garth Beagle, and K-Mac Vintage. Thank you all for stopping by. And so today what I want to do is finish recapping the logic board. We'll recap the power supply, and then hopefully we'll turn this thing on and see if it posts. So let's take a look at the logic board. I don't have any specific pictures, but if you go back and check the video from the first one, from the first video of this series, there was a big spot right here where the capacitor had leaked and caused some corrosion, and it was pretty freaking gross. And then over here was some more corrosion all along this trace. Was a little nasty. Some spots over here, and you can see, you can kind of make out where the shiny stuff is behind the solder mask. And then as I looked a little bit more, I found that there was a bunch of corrosion over here as well along all these traces by the memory slot. So cleaned up all that and put some solder mask on there. I didn't do that live because, well, honestly, my little lights that I use for UV are pretty terrible, and it takes a long time. Oh, Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack is here as well. Hey, VHS, good to see you. So let's slap some caps on here. Oh, geez, I forgot to turn my soldering iron on beforehand. So the strategy that we're going to use to put these caps on, oh, I guess I should straighten this out. Does that make everyone feel better? It makes me feel better. So when I put caps on, I'm going to just put a little bit of goo on here. Our flux goo. Yeah, I am batting 1,000 today, so sorry if things get a little weird. We actually need 4 caps. I only got out 3, so I got to grab one more out of my bag. Sorry about that. So when you get these, they're all like that. Set that aside. Alrighty. Goo flux. Yeah. Let's create a new term. I need my own terms, right? Everyone has their own thing. I haven't established my own identity as a streamer yet, so I need to come up with some terminology that's special to the Big Bad Bench. So what I did is I just tinned one of the pads. I'm gonna go to the other part of the board and tin one of each of those pads. Okay. Let's go back to that other spot. All right, So again, we're using tantalum caps. So stripe is plus. Who uses Fluxadoodle? Would that be Joe? That seems like a Joe thing. Yeah, so Eric, eventually I'm going to do the LC3 Plus mod on this one, and I'll set it up as a switch, so that whoever winds up winning this system can choose themselves whether they want to overclock or not. But yeah, I'll have it set up so that it can be overclocked, so essentially make it the LC3 Plus. Okay, look at that solder joint. I think, does anyone ever watch Northridge Fix? He does some great work. He says we did a good job. We did good job. We did great work. All right, so those solder joints are nice and shiny. Let's see if we can find our other spots on the big bad bench here. So yeah, today I think we're just gonna get this thing back up and running, and then we'll come back and do the mod when I do the final assembly. Right now I just want to see if this thing actually works. Oh, look at that. I was about to do that the wrong way. So one of the things that happens here, so if we look at our little diagram, let's see if we can get that better focus. That's a little better. So you can make out the outline of the original capacitor. There's these little cutouts in the corner that points at the plus end, and you can see here's a plus, right? Oh, you can kind of make out some of the plus there. It got kind of mangled a little bit. So I almost put that one on the wrong way. So ooh, Retro Fox is here. How's it going? Thank you for stopping by. So, if you want to win this LC3, the Farmer Tan LC3, hopefully it'll become internet famous at some point. I know it's been my best performing video ever. All you have to do is go to the first video in the series. There is a link in the description of this stream that points you to that stream, and leave a comment on that video, and you will be entered. I have to apologize. I can only make this US only, but I do have an idea for a future giveaway when we hit the 256 subscriber mark. I have an idea for another giveaway that I think I can do worldwide. All right, this one is giving me some fits because I put some solder on there beforehand. Okay, that looks a lot better. Let's grab another cap. All right, thanks K-Mac Vintage for stopping by. It's good to see you. Hopefully I'll see you again shortly. All right, so let's stick this other one on. Okay. So, never overclock any of your computers. That's sad. They want to live. They want to breathe free. They want to go nuts. I can understand that. I've been an enthusiast for years, and I don't know. It's just part of the fun and challenge of working on computers is like pushing them to their edge and maybe just a little bit further past their edge. So overclocking for me has always been a little bit of fun. But yeah, there are some computers that, I don't know. I mean, I always think it's kind of interesting that you can overclock a Mac at all, considering, you know, they're some of the most locked down systems in existence. I'd really love to find a way to overclock a modern Mac. I remember, well, I mean, I always used to be a PC person, and so there's lots of ways to overclock PCs. But when I first got my Sawtooth, finding out that I could overclock a Sawtooth was just like mind blowing for me. So that was one of my first Mac modifications that I ever did, and that was probably, what, 20 years ago. Okay, so we got that. So where does this LC3 fall in the spectrum of Macs? So most of my videos that I've done so far have been like about, you know, the Mac Plus, the Mac SE, and that kind of era. And so those are the 68,000 CPUs. After that, there was the 68010, which really, I don't know if any Apples actually used the 68010, but the 68020 was in the original LC, and then also in the Mac 2. But then the 68030, which is this guy, was a pretty nice revision, and had a relatively nice speed bump. And so 6830s are kind of, they're in a nice range as far as like affordability goes, and usefulness. So the 68040s are in really high demand. They're a faster machine, but those tend to be kind of expensive systems right now. Whereas you can typically find a 68030 system that has, you know, decent performance, and it can use a lot of different Mac OSs. So like, you know, from basically 7, depending on the system, system 7.1 all the way up to 7.6. You can do a lot of different things with it. All right, so get that all cleaned up. The nice thing about the LC3 is that, you know, the LC stands for low cost, and so these were, you know, compared to the Mac 2, these were much cheaper systems, and you know, they, in order to meet those price points, the LC and the LC2 were sort of castrated. They weren't given the full memory bandwidth that they could, and the memory access, whereas the LC3 is the first one that basically was given the full, what's it, a 32-bit memory bus. So yeah, it's kind of like a 2SI. I think the 2SI, there's a benefit to the 2SI in that it's a much bigger chassis. I think the 2SI was a 20 megahertz 6830, and the LC3 is a 25 megahertz. Okay, so you can see here, these are all nice and clean and shiny. So yeah, the 2SI has better kind of expandability. I mean, you still get a nice slot here. Let's go back to the main scene here. Okay. Move my microscope out of the way. See, our board looks nice. Good, nice soldered joints. The solder mask is ugly, but it's about as nice as you can get. There was a lot of issues that I found on this board when I got a little closer. Okay, so we're gonna set the motherboard, logic board aside. Oh. speaking of Mac 2SI, I actually just got one of these. So let's see here. Yeah, 68030 with a 20 megahertz CPU. The nice thing, get the 72 pin sims versus the 30 pins. I don't know. In my experience, it's easier to find the higher capacity 72 pin sims. All right, so let's look at this power supply. And if we look at it, you know, there's some goos. Again, it's hard to tell on these if what you're seeing there, that shininess around all the stuff, is just sort of residual flux, or if it's cap juice. But the one way you can tell for sure is right here. Let's get a pointer. So, right there on that cap, you can see there's some brown stuff there. That is definitely some leaky cap juice. So let's get all these things off, and then we'll recap it. So free plug to Console 5. I bought their cap kit. It's a nice easy kit. So like with doing the logic boards, I tend to just buy a whole lot of caps and just have them in stock around the big bad bench. But for the power supplies, there tend to be a lot more different caps. So it helps to, I don't know, I like Console 5 just because they just give you the caps you need for the kit, for the particular project you're working on. So one of the issues with these is that they like to fold over the legs of the capacitors. So just give it a little heat and then pop that little guy off. Okay, that one's gone. It's always kind of difficult to sort of see where you're pulling from, so I can't just like, can't just look at this and tell which ones I'm supposed to desolder, so I'm going to constantly be going back and forth between both sides. Okay. And I'm using my solder pult today. You don't necessarily need to use one of these to do this job, but I find it a little bit easier. So what we're going to do, a lot of times when I do something like this, if it's like the first time I do it, I'll do one cap at a time so that I know the values and just replace them as I go along. But Bruce Rain from Broncos Creations has a nice website called recapamac.com.au that has all the cap values, so it makes it a lot easier to go in and figure out what caps need to go where. So as we're looking at this board, you can kind of see there's some more darker crustiness there. You can definitely see that one's been going. So this one isn't bad. I think my other one was actually worse. My Screaming Baby LCIII that I've done a couple videos for previously. Okay, there and there. Let's see. There's a bunch of stuff around here. So it looks like those two. Just fell away. Alright, we got this 50 volt 8.2 microfarad. Let's just double check to make sure they give us that one in the kit. Normally they give you every one that you need, but I just want to double check. Is this one of the ones with the indentations on the front for grabbing the floppy? No, these ones are straight. Where's that chassis go? This is one of the smooth LCs. Garth would probably know better which of the LCs have that cut out. I think the LC475s are one of the ones that do that. So we need 8.2 microfarad, 50 volts. I think we're replacing this with a 10 microfarad, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think we're replacing this with a 10 microfarad. Let's go and check recapamac.com. So this was for the logic board, but he also has the power supply. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're replacing this 8.2 microfarad with a 10. Should be fine. All right, now we got the big one. Begin. Sorry, let me check the chat. Yeah, I like the flat ones as well. I don't know. To me, they look sleeker. Although the LC475, from a performance standpoint, is just a straight up sexy machine from a performance standpoint. So for this, it would have actually been better to use my larger. Look at this little structure that the solder makes inside the solder pult. If it's just the rectangle floppy, cutout, it's an auto inject. Oh, so the LC475 had manual inject floppies? That's kind of wild. I didn't realize that. So because this solder tip is too small, it kind of takes a little while to heat up. But it works. All right, so that's gone. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to take that little one off. Okay, where does this one go? There and there. No, I lost it just by turning my head. Okay, here we go. Huh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that about the auto versus manual. Again, I've been doing some Mac stuff on my channel, but I'm really kind of a Mac noob. I've only been doing this basically since March. I've learned a lot along the way, met some very cool people. But yeah, I'm still a Mac noob. Alright, so I'm going to stick all these other caps over here because I'm going to forget which ones are new and which ones are used. I had a giant bag of all the caps that I've taken off my Macs since I've been working on them, and I lost it. I don't know what the hell I did with it. I can't believe I lost a giant bag of bad caps. Alright, so I'm just going to use some isopropanol, clean this thing off. Yeah, see, that one's not bad. This one's pretty good as far as power supplies go. The other way that you can tell if they're bad is the smell. And I really didn't smell any fish juice when taking this power supply apart. The logic board was bad. That was a very, very fishy logic board. You can see we're starting to get some stuff here. So yeah, it needed to be done. But wasn't the worst. I think the power supply in my LCIII was a little grosser than this one. Let's get a paper towel. Get some. Oh yeah, look at that nice yellow cap juice leaking all over the big bad bench. Ooh, what'd you get from Ukraine, VHS? I can't imagine the length of shipping time coming out of there these days. Alright, that one's gross. Let's get a new one. Alright, so this is looking pretty good. So is anyone here participating in the hashtag 486 build off starting next month? I have, I think, 2 systems I want to do for that. Still a little bit of yellowing coming off. I think some of this yellow might be from the flux. Oh, I left a cap on there. Why didn't someone tell me? Okay, gone. Got a 386 DX40, 286 10 megahertz, an ATI AGP card, and a 360K floppy drive. Wow. So, how long did shipping take to get all that stuff over here? Well, I guess it's technically still not here yet, but alrighty. So let's take a look at our website. Alright, so one of the things to point out on here is, oh, come back, go back. Bruce shows us where the pluses are, and so if we look at our LC3 power supply here, you can see all the minuses are labeled. The square around the hole is also a good indicator for that. So for this one, we're just going to be matching stripe to stripe. And again, like mine, this thermal paste is annoying the heck out of me, so I'm just going to get it off for now. All right, let's get this thing back together. So, stripe, square. Find chat. Okay, 2.5 weeks is not too bad. Yeah, so you can see I'm having a little bit of issue with this soldering. Look what happens here, where it's not totally flowing. There we go. It just takes a little bit longer to heat up when you don't have a big enough tip on your soldering iron for this kind of thing. And you definitely want to give it enough time to heat up, because you don't want any cold joints, especially on this one. I have a feeling the power supply would not do well if we left a cold joint right there. So we got nice shiny joints there. Alright, what else we got here? We got that tiny one. Again, that is our 8.2 microfarad 50 volts. Yes, excuse me. Yes, I'm using a conical tip today. Normally I use a flatter tip, but my flatter tip started to wear out, so I'm gonna have to use this one today. I have some more. Shoot. Have some more tips coming soon. That's the problem with old Wellers. So you can see I'm got a nice old soldering iron. It does a nice job, but the tips just are not what they once were. Okay, so we got our stripe going to the square. Just gonna put in solder on one side. Push that up against the board. Sit in nice up on there. Then we'll get the other side. So yeah, there's no philosophical reason that I'm using a conical tip today, aside from that it's the nicest tip I have today. Okay, so then that one, let's go do the middle one. Let's check our website. So we have two 1000 microfarad 10 volts, kind of in the middle there. 1000 microfarad 10. Just want to double check that one more time. So this is interesting. Oh, there's the other 1010. Okay. Wow, a 2FX that boots. Did you have to do anything to it? That's awesome. Oh, okay. Let's go back to our scene. Okay. All right. Let's put this one in. Again, we'll hit one leg. So yeah, Lewis Rossman has a lot more soldering supplies at his disposal than I do. Did it... Wait, so alright, I'm getting my Mac 2s confused. Is the 2X one of the ones that requires the batteries in order to post? Oh, just put a working battery in it. Cool. Okay, so this is why I do one leg at a time. You can see that one kind of fell out. So now I can come back, fix that, clean up that joint, come back and do both the legs. It's one of the bad things about doing it this way, where you do legs individually, is sometimes you can forget to do that other leg, especially if you're doing multiple caps at the same time. Alright, so those are good. Let's see, we got one more 1000 microfarad 10 volts. Let's check the place there, down here. Oh, just heard that one fall out. Just put a little solder on there. Melt that, push it through, and now we're tight up against the board. Okay. Sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice today. Okay. Ooh, forgot to cut one of the legs off. Did it make a big spark? I must have missed that stream. Yeah, never forget to take your legs off. That's a weird thing to say. Alright, what's this little guy in this little armpit right here? So that is a 50 microfarad 25 volt. Let me check on the website. 56 microfarad 25 volt. Okay. Got these two little ones. So 47. 56. Okay. You know, and that's not a mistake that we would probably make if we weren't streaming, right, Garth? I do all kinds of stupid stuff while I'm streaming. I still am not used to this. I blame streaming. Streaming is the root of all evil. Alright, let me just double check. Yeah, minus sign, stripe. Okay, get rid of that and that. Now what do we got? Let's do this little one. So that is 270 microfarad 10 volt. Okay, so he gives us, or they give us from console 5, a 270 microfarad 16 volt. We also have 270 microfarad 25 volts. Just giving this a once over, yep. Okay. That one, that one. Okay, looking good there. And then got that one, 270 microfarad. And this one is a 35 volt, and I think the originals, what were the originals? 25 volts. One leg, squish, other leg. Alright, and our last 270 microfarad. Oops. There we go. Now we're squished. Squish. Alright, so that looks good. And now we got our very last, let's just double check. We got a 47 microfarad 25 volt. And if we look at the website, 47 microfarad 25 volt. So, looks like we won't have any missing parts. That's rare for me. Oh. I'm gonna do a little bending here. Okay, that one's a little dangly. There we go, squish. Alrighty, I think that is all of them. Oh, nice. The stuff is finally here. Gonna add a little bit of flux on this joint. It's not as nice and shiny as I normally would like, so we're just gonna there we go. There's a little chunk of solder that I just didn't want to leave. Alrighty, so now let's give this thing a little bath. a little drink. Let's find a nice toothbrush. Nice new toothbrush. I could probably still use this one in the house too. All right, how do we look? There's a little weird thing right there. Oh, that's gone. Okay. Do a stream, VHS. I'm going to be done soon. You could go today. You have a captive audience waiting. All right. Oh, right. We got to solder the board back on here. Okay. So. How do we do this? Got blue and brown. All right, do one at a time. Sorry. This is kind of a pain. I haven't noticed anybody mention streaming about tonight. I think, doesn't Justin D. Morgan normally stream on Thursdays? I'm impressed that I actually remembered it's Thursday. Mac-Yak. Is Mac-Yak normally Tuesdays or Thursdays? But it's only every other Thursday. And hello, Roger Jones. Thanks for stopping by. And K. Friddle? Friddile? Yeah, these two leads are kind of annoying. But we're good to go now. Got some nice dirt on the big bad bench. I really need to repaint the big bad bench, but it's not a priority right now. Got too many other things going on. Like trying to get this thing done so I can get it out of my workshop and into somebody else's hands. Alright, so if we look at this, we got little that little tab. And of course, with these things, I get thermal paste everywhere. Alright. Oh, right. I should put some new thermal paste on there. Let's see. Do I have one out? Just put a little bit here. I like having a nice clean workbench every once in a while. It definitely, white works a lot better for filming than the original wood did. Alright, am I forgetting anything? All the screws are... Oh, shoot. All my screws are all mangled up and tied into other things. Okay, so this has to go underneath there. That goes like that. That goes inside of that. These go inside of there. Yeah, the case... I mean... I think this case is actually steel. Let's see. Yeah, the case is steel, so it's not a great heatsink, but they still put a little thermal paste on there to have it transfer a little bit of heat onto the steel. Oh my god, look at the mess I've made already. This is the thing I hate the most about working on doing these power supplies, getting the thermal paste in. Yep, all my plastic shields are in. Oh, I need a smaller screwdriver. At least with these, all the screws are the same. So that makes it a little easier to work with. Don't have to remember which screws go where. Unlike some of the power supplies and assorted Macs. Just making sure that all the tabs are in their right locations. Yeah, that's a nice tip, Garth, to just cover up the thermal paste. But I just even put this gray stuff on and I already got it squished all over everywhere. I'm just really... not coordinated. Okay, let's make sure all of our screws are tight. Oh. See, that's why you gotta double check. Yeah, the retro Mac community is very active. There's a lot of stuff to keep track of. Alright, so the other problem is, well, I don't know if it's going to be a problem or not. We'll find out if it's a problem. Some Macs have weird grounding issues, and I'm going to try to run this thing outside of the case. So I'm interested to see if that causes a problem for the LCIII. I've never tried to do that. Let me zoom out a little bit here. Oh my god, look at this mess I made. Garth is calling Friday. Garth has the cachet to reserve any Friday that he wants. I concur, Garth. It's all you. Although, I might want to do a stream one Friday before you, so I can be your opening act. Alrighty, got that. And got our logic board. Let's give this blue scuzzy. And hopefully my capture will work. that on there. Oh, let's give it a speaker. All right, we're powered off. All right, 3, 2, 1. We got a chime. Let's check our voltages. Oh, let's check to see if we're getting video out. Yep. So it doesn't look like we're booting yet. Oh, I forgot to plug in the mouse. Okay. There we go. We're booting. I don't know. What does everyone think? Is it safe to plug in a ADB while a system's booted up, or should I shut it off first? I'm always of the opinion that I should shut it off, just because I've seen some ADB ports apparently die from this. All right, 5.12 volts, 12.09 volts, and our negative 5 volts is crap, but it was crap on mine as well. All right, that's pretty dead on. All right, good. We all say no. All right, I'm in agreement. I'm shutting that off, even though I hate shutting off a system with the while it's booted. Oh, here's a little reminder of what our color used to be. I forgot to retro bright that. All right, so let's stick this in here. Modem is the one closest to the SCSI port. So this is my loopback system for Snooper. So I just use a couple legs from like the caps that we just did, and just solder on a glue. Let's pop this back on. Nope. Don't have speaker this time. What's our... Do we have video? No. What happened here? Let's take this out. Maybe I plugged in that wrong. Uh-oh. We got no power. Am I shorting something out in the back? Huh. Yes, you can come up with more elegant solutions for the loopback, but this is my mess. The way I like to do it. So we got one boot. And now we got nothing. I don't feel anything weird. Just want to double check all my caps. They're all pointing the right way. Did I turn off the power supply? That's a good question. I might have. No, we're getting a light on our blue SCSI, so we know we're getting something. We got our 5, we got our 12, and we got our weird -5. Huh. This is interesting. Let's get rid of our blue SCSI. Yeah, so we got power coming out of our logic board. Just making sure I'm not shorting anything out on there. loose with my connections. Well, we got bong like that. Huh. That's interesting. Let's shut that off. Oh, intermittent issues are unfun. All right, we got chime there. Let's see if this thing boots up. Well, I have the mouse connected, but yeah, maybe the power connector on the logic board is loose, because the power supply seems good. It's just taken off. So once this boots up, we'll oh, not that thing. There we go. Let's let it do a snooper. But yeah, I'll go back, since there was a little bit of corrosion over there. Maybe I'll unsolder the power connector, see if there's anything weird there. Let's do a little logic test. Mitch Kramer, thank you for stopping by. I've seen this behavior on an LCIII without a PRAM battery. Yeah, I've seen that with the LC475. Like, if you don't have a PRAM battery in that one, and you flick it on, it doesn't do anything. But then if you flick it on the second time, it goes. I was working on an LC475, and that confused the heck out of me. But we're sort of working. I would like it to start up reliably, you know? It would be nice to give away a computer that's kind of reliably working. We'll see. I'll try it. Actually, I think I'm out of PRAM batteries right now. But I'll add one and see if that changes the behavior at all. But I am really interested to look at the power connector and see if there's anything wonky. I looked at the back of the board. There, I think, were like two weird little spots. But they didn't seem anything bad. PowerMax 6100 is the same way with PRAM batteries. Interesting. Oh man, I've learned so much since getting into this little classic Mac hobby. There's so many little rules. Oh, we're getting a little angry bit because I don't have my fancy loopback connectors attached. How hot's our CPU? It's pretty hot. I might want to stick a heatsink on there. Wow, had to replace the Molex pins on an LC2 because they were so corroded. Yeah, I believe it. The corrosion just kind of takes hold and goes nuts on these things. I have a Mac 2 and a Mac 2X that I'm dreading taking apart, just because the boards are so big, so many potential issues. All right, so yeah, we went through one cycle, right? We did. Oh, wrong mouse. Yep, we did a full thing on everything. All right, cool. Well, we got one cycle of snooper going. Let's shut this thing down and take a look at the back of the power connector. let's just double check about this Macintosh. LCIII, 4 megs of RAM. Good. Alright, shut her down. And let's change our view. Alright, cool. Yeah, let's take a look at the back of this thing real quick and just make sure there's nothing really obvious going wrong. Let's zoom in a little here. Oh yeah, so there was one little spot of corrosion that had gone through. Oh, yeah, look at this. Let's look at it under the microscope. Get some better eyes on this. So, oh yeah, look at that. So we can see there's a little bit of nastiness there. But then when we go over here, these two little spots right there. Yep, as soon as I touch them with a knife, that pops right off. So, I mean, they're still connected, but yeah, I should go over. Oh, look at this. Right here, right at that junction. You can see that popped right off. So it's possible that's a little weak. Alright, so I'm going to spend some time going over all those. Get that all cleaned up, put some solder mask on that thing. But yeah, I'll check a little bit closer. This was the worst spot on the board, on the main face of the board, because you know this was where those 3 caps right there all leaked, and so this was the worst spot. So I'll spend some more time going over this in more detail. But yeah, there's probably a little bit of some nastiness. I did hit this thing with a vinegar bath, but maybe I'm still missing a little bit. But yeah, also I'll try it with a PRAM battery in there, alleviate that variable and see if that changes anything. All right, so I think I'm gonna end this here today. Yeah, we've been going for what, an hour and 20 minutes or so, or an hour. Let me change up my view here. All right, so thanks everybody for stopping by today. So everyone that was here: Retro Fox, Mitch Kramer, Garth Beagle, Kay Fridile, Jeremy's Vintage Hillbilly Shack, Roger Jones. Who else am I missing? I know I'm missing someone else. Where is that? Eric Helgeson. Make sure to check out Eric Helgeson's work, and Garth Beagle and K Mac Vintage. So yeah, thank you all for stopping by and for commenting and stuff like that. If this is your first time hearing about this LC3 giveaway, all you have to do is go to my first video about this LC3, the Farmer Tan LC3 as I'm calling it, and just leave a comment on that video. There's a link to that video on this video in the description. And so unfortunately it's only US people only, but yeah, just leave a comment and you are entered into the video. or into the giveaway for this LC3. Hopefully we'll have it totally working 100% without any bugs by the time it's time to be given away. So I think we'll do one more episode where we do the LC3 Plus mod on this thing, and get everything reassembled once the retro brighting's done. I want to thank everyone that has watched my videos recently. A lot more people have started looking at my stuff, so I really appreciate that. Thank you to everyone that's gotten subscribed. And so, yeah, thank you, and have a good day, you all. Sorry. My thing's all stuff. I just want to say goodbye. Bye, everyone.